Shit, man. Looks like I was wrong again. And I hate admitting when I'm wrong. I'm a human. We all hate admitting when we're wrong. However, I do have to do the right thing and admit that I've been proven wrong again. As you can see here, we've got a newspaper article entitled Elon Musk SpaceX helps the moon get its first mobile phone network. You can see it right there. And you might say, well, how does that prove that you were wrong, JLB? What were you wrong about here? What does this prove? Well, you see, lately I've been involved in a little bit of a back and forth, not just with Lester Needium, but with a few people. And I've been suggesting that maybe outer space is a hoax. I've been suggesting that maybe it's not just that man has never walked on the moon, it's that man could never walk on the moon, because the moon is not some place where you can just go and drive dune buggies and play golf and all this kind of thing. You know, I've basically been suggesting that outer space is not some real place, it's just a mythological place. You know, there's no place up there where you can just go and float around, is what I've been suggesting. And that's been the debate that's been taking place recently on my website. But check this article out. This comes to us from the Brisbane Times here in Queensland, February 28, which it is today. Let me read the first few stanzas of this article to you now. Quote, "The moon will get its first mobile phone network next year, enabling high-definition streaming from the lunar landscape back to Earth, part of a project to back the first privately funded moon mission. Vodafone Germany, network equipment maker Nokia, and car maker Audi said on Tuesday they were working together to support the mission, 50 years after the first NASA astronauts walked on the moon. Vodafone said it had appointed Nokia as its technology partner to develop a space-grade network, which would be a small piece of hardware weighing less than a bag of sugar. A launch is scheduled in 2019 from Cape Canaveral on one of billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk's SpaceX Falcon 9 rockets, Vodafone said. This project involves a radically innovative approach to the development of a mobile network infrastructure, Vodafone Germany Chief Executive Hans Amitsreiter said. Hans Amitsreiter? I don't know how to pronounce that. Give me a break. One executive involved said the decision to build a 4G network rather than a state-of-the-art 5G network was taken because the next generation networks remain in the testing and trial stage and are not stable enough to ensure they would work from the lunar surface. End quote. Well, I think that is just about case closed, guys. Check out this photo. I mean, they wouldn't make up a story like this, guys. Let's be honest with ourselves. Now, obviously, this is just a simulation of the mobile mast. This is just an artist's impression. But when it comes time for them to successfully land this telecommunications technology on the moon, they will surely give us real footage. Of that we can rest completely assured. So it looks like I've been debunked, guys. It looks like I've been exposed. This one is an open and shut case. Not only does outer space exist, but you definitely can walk on the moon or send things to the moon. You can even send telecommunications technology. It says it right here in this article from the Brisbane Times via Reuters. So it looks like I might have jumped the gun, guys. Looks like I might have written a 5,000-word piece talking about why I don't believe in outer space personally. Looks like I might have jumped the gun, guys. Looks like maybe outer space could be real after all. Now, I know that some of you are going to come back and say, but JLB, how do you know this article is real? I mean, this could just be more nonsense propaganda, exactly as George Orwell told us is the reason why the news exists. Okay, you might be right about that. However, let me tell you what I've seen in this article that convinces me. Check this out. See how they say that they're building a 4G network rather than a 5G network? If they were making this article up, if this wasn't real, why wouldn't they just lie about putting a 5G network on the moon, right? Think about it. Why would they only lie about putting 4G? If they were going to lie, they would just go to the extreme and lie about putting a 5G network on the moon, you would think. So that to me is what makes this article seem rock solid. Rock solid. I don't really think you can argue with it. It's a bit like how with the NASA missions, if they were lying about going to the moon, why would Apollo 13 fail to get to the moon? Do you know what I mean? Like if it was all just a big lie, how could there be a moon mission that didn't get to the moon? They would just lie about going to the moon every time, wouldn't they? So, I think now that I think about it, now that I've had a bit more time to think about all of this, I think maybe I jumped the gun. Maybe outer space is 100% real after all. Now, if you'd like to read this article just to see what I had to say about outer space, you can access this, as well as a range of content on the website for free. You do have to apply for a part membership. That is part of the deal. But if you go through that application process and just send me the email, just a simple email, you'll get access to quite a range of material. Now, this part membership page is building very quickly, very nicely. You'll get access to the Kitty Hoax page. You'll get access to a couple of pages from the Illuminati card game analysis, some articles about the history hoax, some articles about the Bitcoin crash, which it looks like I predicted. Boy, oh boy, wowee. Burning the Library of Alexandria. Yeah, you know that story about a library 2,000 years ago being burnt to the ground? What if it was very easy to prove that that story was a complete hoax? This outer space article, now redundant, of course, because now we do know that outer space is real, thanks to Elon Musk putting a phone network on the moon. So this one might be a little bit redundant, but could still be worth checking out. You'll also get access to the War Hoax Part 1 introduction, where I explain why I think war might be a hoax. Of course, I will retract my views on that when there's a war on the moon. Maybe Russia and America will have a war on the moon and we'll get to watch it on our telescreens, and maybe that'll prove that war is real. But for the time being, I think that maybe war might be a hoax. Conspiratards versus normies, the difference between the two. Ancient Greece, make-believe, yeah, would you... I know it sounds crazy, but what if I could prove to you quite easily that everything you think you know about ancient history is very easy to debunk? Then I've got this video where I use a whiteboard to explain the trivium method of thinking. Input, process, output, grammar, logic, rhetoric can be useful for our thinking. Blue pill, red pill, black pill, check that one out. Yeah, some truths that we learn, they're not always the nicest things to learn. Neil deGrasse Tyson in Brisbane, I went and checked that out in Brisbane last year, and you should have heard what this guy was saying to his audience, and they loved it. They lapped it up. Goodness gracious me. And then a couple of videos to do with synchromysticism, which is a very interesting field. Simulacra in The Silver Fox, we discussed the Matrix, Jean Baudrillard philosophy to do with representations versus the real, what is really real on our telescreens, and then some more stuff to do with synchromysticism. And then, of course, the Metaphey episodes, discussing the absolute nonsense of the flat earth charlatans pushing their flat earth memes all over the internet. So there's quite a bit there in the part members section, all available completely for free, and all you have to do is apply for a part membership, which many people have done, and so far most of them have been successful with their applications. So congratulations to those of you who got through the application process. But that'll have to do us for today, guys. Yeah, very embarrassing. Boy, oh boy. I release a 5,000 word piece about space being fake, and then a couple of days later, SpaceX announced this with Vodafone, and prove me wrong, guys. Shit. Oh well, you've got to admit when you're wrong sometimes, and it looks like I was wrong. So on the 28th of February 2018, John LeBon signing off. Check the links in the info box below. And until next time, you guys take care of yourselves.